Boeing is indicating right now China is interested in buying $1.2, almost $1.3 trillion worth of new airplanes. That's over the next couple of decades. So talk about long-term customers. Will that still be the case if there is a freeze in trade or a war on the trade front? To the Wall Street Journal chief economics commentator, Greg Ip. Greg, I was wondering about the timing of Boeing passing this along. It wasn't by accident, but what do you make of that?
Well, I think that you put it together with a couple of other interesting signals. For example, my colleagues today are reporting that Beijing has signaled to American companies in private meetings, and plan to do so again this weekend, that there will not be any across-the-board retaliation against American companies as a result of the trade, frictions developing between Beijing and Washington. And Neil, I think what you need to read into this is that notwithstanding the fact that China does have the ability to punish American companies and American exports, it's not necessarily in their best interest either. They need those Boeing aircraft. Their own aircraft industry is still at an infant stage. And if they basically locked out Boeing, they'd hand all the control over to Airbus. No customer wants to be in that position. And there's still a country that relies heavily on Western technology, Western investment, Western know-how to accelerate its own development. It is very sensitive to the fact that allowing relations to deteriorate imperils that future.
You know, Greg, I knew you were coming on board, so I thought, boy, what a great question to raise with you because you're so smart and all this stuff. But China apparently is going to check with the WTO on getting permission to impose sanctions on the U.S. Cynically, a lot of people look at the WTO, even though we won a lot of decisions going to the WTO, as being a sort of a kangaroo court for whatever the Chinese want to do, that they've gotten special treatment. They're still looked upon as a developing nation in the eyes of this World Trade Organization. So what's that about?
So I think that if you actually look at the specific decisions where the United States has sued China or China has sued the United States, you really can't find any evidence that the WTO has been unfair to the United States. The U.S. wins a lot of its cases.
Absolutely right about that. And we always harangue it.
Sure,
but the fact of the matter is they've been a very friendly body to us.
They have, in terms of the letter of the law. But I think there's another picture here, is that if you pull the camera out, is that legitimate questions can be raised as to whether China has actually adhered to the spirit of the law. Let me give you one very simple example. When China joined the WTO, it agreed that, like all members, it shall publish all subsidies that it makes available to Chinese companies. You have to do that because then other companies and foreign competitors know how to ask for relief from that unfair competition. China doesn't do that, and one of the reasons it doesn't is because the nature of the economy is such that a lot of those subsidies don't really look like subsidies. Local governments constantly sell land or lease land at sub-market rates to Chinese companies. That doesn't show up as a subsidy anywhere. You could go on and on and on, Neil, about all the sort of subtle ways that China kind of violates the spirit of the WTO.
Absolutely.
There are legitimate questions to be raised about whether China has actually been, a full and reasonable member of the WTO since joining in 2001.
Still, your newspaper is famous for commending the president on the economic front with what he's been able to do with tax cuts and cuts and regulations and the like, but it calls him to task on the trade front, all but saying you risk, blowing all that up if this goes too far. Is it your opinion that your editorial page writers are right, that this is something that could wipe away the benefits if it goes far afield?
Well, I'm on the news side, Neil, as you know, and I will let the editorial page speak for itself. But let me make a couple points here. I think that you've had a series of policy initiatives out of this administration which have been very well received by businesses. You can see that in the business confidence numbers. I'm talking about the tax cut. I'm talking about the reduction or the slowing in regulation, which I think matters a lot. And against that, absolutely, businesses are much more uneasy about the trade frictions and protectionism. Now, I would say that at this point, that notwithstanding all the headlines, what's happened on the trade front is small compared to the positives that have happened on the tax and the regulation side. I think what the president has to keep in mind is that, first of all, the bad news keeps sort of like outweighing the good news, and that these things do have there is a risk of them sort of like spinning out of control. And there's also, even if the trade stuff isn't a big negative, it's still a negative. And the president, by constantly focusing on, for example, I'm going to have, these products, I'm going to raise tariffs on, say, steel because I want to help steel workers' jobs, is neglecting the harm that is causing to all the industries that consume steel, the harm that's occurring to farmers, if they can't sell to China.
Yeah. I thought I'd get you at a weak moment, Greg, and to throw your colleagues under the bus. You didn't take the bait, touche to you. But it's always good having you, Greg. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Neil.